You're listening to Aniswa Works.
Night Rider. This incident occurred about 2 years ago. I remember it was a Friday night. I had been out all evening and had returned home completely drunk and turned. That freedom was why I moved out of my parents' home. Should have seen the waterworks from my mother the morning I left. True, I was her only son, but the sorrowful single was a bit too much. Seeing in twos, it took me about 10 minutes to get into my apartment and another 15 minutes to take off my shoes. After throwing up a few times and a half-hearted attempt at a bath, I crawled into bed. I was having a dream where I had just gotten onto a bus and taken a seat beside a pregnant giraffe when my phone buzzed me out of sleep. The moment I saw the screen, I knew I didn't want to pick up the call. But before I knew what my thumb had done, I was on a call with my father on the other end. "Kwesi, where are you?" he bellowed. "Fuck," I had cursed under my breath. "I'm home, Dad. Where else would I be at?" I paused and checked the screen. At 12:23 a.m. Don't be a smart mouth with me, boy. Last week, you and I stayed up all night talking about Instagram models and the wonders of plastic surgery while we drank shot after shot of Jack Daniels till we passed out. "And whose idea was that, Dad?" I asked. "Mine, of course. You are lame. I'm way cooler than you are," came the clap back. I sighed and he continued. "Get dressed. I need you to run an errand for me," he said. "What?" I shrieked, suddenly half as tipsy. "Now?" "Yes, now. Why do you think I called? Because I want to hear you shriek like a little girl? Come on, I need your help." "I don't have a car, Dad. It broke down," I lied. "That's not true, Jude. If it were, you would have called me even before you dialed up your mechanic," he chuckled. I rolled my eyes and tried harder with a lie, but to no avail. He suggested I request an Uber, leaving me nowhere to run. I hung up, rolled out of bed, and put on some clothes. I requested an Uber and was pleased to find it was 8 minutes away. In about that time, I received a message that my ride had arrived. I walked past my 2017 Kia Sportage and to the Kia Morning parked outside my gate. I got into the front passenger seat and reclined my seat so I could catch some Z's during the ride. "Boss, I beg, use the map, eh?" I said as I shut my eyes. It wasn't until a cop shone his torchlight in the car at a checkpoint that I noticed I was being driven by a woman, and she had on the tiniest pair of shorts. I really shouldn't have been staring at her thighs, but blame it on the alcohol. I just couldn't help myself. I was transfixed. Briefly, she looked away from the road and at me. My heart skipped a beat. "I'm sorry, Mom," I said, cowering in case she smacked me across the face. She pulled over to the side of the motorway. It was very dark and quiet, with an occasional car zoom past. I wondered what was happening. Was she about to harvest my internal organs? Were there a bunch of dudes in the truck to help her do it? I braced myself. She turned off the engine and the radio higher. I stared with my jaw dropped as she started to take off her mint green blouse with a naughty look in her eyes. I instantaneously knew I was about to have a good morning. Her stare was so alluring and drew me in. My eyes were drawn to her breast, one of which had a beauty spot. She unclasped her bra from behind. Her soft breasts were now inches away from me. I felt one and she let out the sexiest moan I've ever heard. They were soft yet firm, and her nipples had gotten super hard from brushing my thumbs against them. 2 cars zoomed past as she moved out her seat and into my lap. She straddled me with a grin. She grabbed my dick through the sweatpants I wore and let out a low growl. I was so horny at this point, My dick was rock hard and throbbing. I stuck my free hand under her cotton shorts and played around with her. I knew she liked it because she got so wet I could feel it all over my fingers. Suddenly, she pushed me away. I thought the clock must have struck 12. Whatever spell she had been under had worn off, and the end had come. But no, that was just the beginning. She kissed me and slid her tongue to the side, grabbed my dick, and sat down on it slowly. She was so tight, and it felt amazing going inside her. She felt like a saint, but she fucked me like she did nothing else all day. I went to kiss her at the same time she moved to kiss me too, and we bumped heads. Her lips were busted, and I panicked a little, but she just wiped off the trickle and kept slamming down on my dick. I didn't notice how loud my moaning had gotten until she placed her hand over my mouth. Her gaze didn't wander, her eyes right into mine, biting down on her lower lip. She ground against my dick till I could feel myself about to come. Sadly, that never happened. She got back into the driver's seat and started the car before I could. The grin on her face was priceless and the look of satisfaction undeniable. I, on the other hand, was in agonizing pain as my balls were the color of the sky. The remainder of the trip, I sat staring at her gorgeous face, her dark brown eyes, those full lips, and the daintiest hands I had ever felt. She was in her own world, singing along to Lady Gaga's Paparazzi as we zoomed down the motorway. I arrived at my parents' home an hour late. When she ended the trip, I had a bill of 67 Ghana cedis, 98 pesos. That trip was worth every peso, and I had paid her with a smile. "So will I get to see you again?" I asked, my head in the window. "Whoa," she said with creased brows. "Why are Ghanaian boys like this? Listen, I just wanted to have fun, and clearly you did too, so that's all. I know you have my number, but please don't call me." She zoomed off. I had memorized and saved her number in my phone as Knight Rider, and with heavy heart, I deleted it. I flashed my father when I arrived at the side of the wall we had chosen to meet at, and in a minute or two, his head appeared above the wall. A little pile of rocks my mother had kept in the garden provided all the push my tall, buffed father needed. My dad handed me a check. "Your mother must be some sort of owl," he whispered. "The woman doesn't sleep, and her sense of hearing is just unbelievable." I shook my head. "Call the number on this paper when you arrive at 17 Runabout. That's my chocolate chip cookie," he said as he handed me a little piece of paper. As quickly as he had appeared, he disappeared. I requested another Uber and secretly prayed Knight Rider would be the one to accept my request. She wasn't. When I arrived at 17 Runabout, I started to dial the number on the piece of paper, only to realize 5 digits in that it was Knight Rider's number. I was amazed. What were the odds? I immediately abandoned all efforts to reach the girl. I had the driver take me home. I kept that check for myself and cashed it the following day. My father, understandably, was furious because of what I had done, but he let it go soon enough because I knew how to blackmail him, if you will. So with that one fell swoop, I managed to get my father to finally quit calling and sending me on errands at odd hours, and made 1,500 Ghana cedis. If that's not industrious, I don't know what is.